Hi there, Nicki Vee here, 10-10 movement. Today we're going to talk about a very now subject. It's keeping calm with your kids. Well, of course, we've had all this time during lockdown and now we're into the summer holidays. How do you keep calm with your kids? How do you get to that place of consciousness where you're aware of how you're interacting with them, so that actually they pick up on a much more calm you? So let me just take that apart a minute and just to give you my understanding from working with lots and lots of people who have got children who are trying to balance working from home, trying to balance doing homeschool, or maybe your children are very young, or maybe they're teenagers that have come home for the holidays or whatever. Actually, kids of all ages do one thing and one thing alone. They react to your energy. They react to your level of consciousness. What happens, in my understanding, and from working with lots of parents, is the thing that's worked really, really well is for you. Yeah, I know. You're probably going to go, not me again, not got to do more work on myself. Yes. I mean, the thing is, the problem is trying to change their behavior by rules, by persuasion, by whatever, is never going to work if we're not calm. So when we're calm and we're in a better state, then what can happen is we can bring in, guidelines, rules, whatever you care to call it, sort of some ground, like some boundaries. Yes, we can bring those things in. Yes, we can encourage them to do things which perhaps they're not wanting to do. But it's never going to work unless we're calm. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, as you'll know from anything that Nicki Vee ever says, she goes, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at what happens if you don't. So if you cannot stay calm with your kids, be very prepared for their behavior to be worse. Now, you might go, that's a bit harsh, Nicki Vee. Well, the reason why I'm saying that is this, is they pick up on your vibration, they pick up on your level of stress, and it actually impacts them and makes them behave worse. And so I give you a couple of examples of things that have really worked, where parents have learned how to stay calm, how to stay conscious. What do I mean by that? Being more aware of ourselves, being more aware of what's going on, being more aware of our impact on others. And I've had one wonderful young lady. She's got 3 children under 8, and they were all home for months and months and months this year, but also obviously they're now in the summer holidays as well. And she was finding that she was trying to force them to be in a certain room while she was trying to work. And she said to me, but you know what, it's always been like this, Nicki. She said, when I was getting them ready for school before we got into this crazy time, she said, I was literally shrieking at them to go. She said, because like being calm, as she called it, and being relaxed with them and going, yes, just get your shoes on and get your bag and let's get in the car and go to school. She said, wasn't working. I said, well, that's because what was really going on underneath. She said, well, I was trying to get them to do what I wanted them to do. And actually, one of the things that was making it worse was inside. And then externally, I was starting to get super, super stressed, really, really shouty and all those things. So what we decided is 2 things. First of all, yes, of course, we looked at her and we said, look, inside you're all stressed, you're thinking you're going to be late, all those things, lots and lots of different things going on inside. What are we going to do to stop what's going on inside of you? But the second thing I asked her, which probably had the biggest impact, was what behavior are you're doing that you're seeing manifesting in your children? And oh my goodness me, this was the leverage that she needed. She went, I can see she's got 1 boy and 2 girls, and she said, I can see my eldest daughter just behaves exactly as I do when I'm in a stressed state. So I said to her, I said, look, this might sound harsh, but imagine that when she's your age now, she's learnt to do this, she's doing this with her kids. Look, let me ask you, what else has this cost you in your life? And of course she went, oh my goodness me, I need to stop. So I said, well, then there's the second thing that we want to work on is we want to work on getting the kids around together, having like a family meeting, agreeing how the four of you, 3 children and mom, are going to get ready in the mornings, but now obviously we're homeschool. How are we going to run this? What are we going to do when mom is working? How are we going to do that? And have them commit. My son and his wife, they've got a family values on the wall in their hallway. And it talks about being conscious of each other. It talks about, not having any drama. It talks about being unconditionally loving. It really has an agreed how we're going to act, how they're going to act in that family. So I said, so with this young lady, I said, look, just try it. First of all, you've got to get yourself in a better state before you interact with the kids. Secondly, you need to have agreed how you're going to operate in those times that are the most difficult. And thirdly, when you are in that state, and you're in a calm state, you're in that level of consciousness and awareness of how you're impacting on them. Notice how brilliantly things operate. And here's the caveat. If things are not working, what do we need to do? We need to look at ourselves. She needed to look at herself and work out, what is it I'm still doing that's actually having this impact? But of course, as you will be, I'm sure, expect, the minute she learnt about taking some nice deep breaths in, if you've been with me on the other videos, you'll know about breathing deeply, really calmly, going and interacting with the children in a way that's not trying to make them do things, but that's just calm in your own right. And then actually celebrating together when you've had a situation where it feels happier, it feels like you're all getting on really well. And you then, get ready for school, get in the car, or when the kids were at home, she found that they were brilliant with each other. They were actually getting together and having their own little meeting about what they were going to do when mom was working. So it worked absolutely brilliantly. Now, one quick other example is I have another client who has a son who is in his mid to late teens and actually is really going through a really tough time. One could call it depression if you were going to put a label on it. It's talked about, feeling like he doesn't want to live, feeling like, very, very dark and very upsetting for the parents. And what I've said to the parents is this: what you're doing? Well, we're trying to talk him into it. We're trying to tell him to stop. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do that. Trying to do that. I said, but hold on a minute. All you need to do is have much more awareness of you and how you're interacting, and asking him some questions, finding out what's really going on for him and how can you support him. And they just went, yeah, you see, we're just so scared of him being in a dark place. And I said, well, yes, but you being scared, you see what we've been talking about in many of these videos, but definitely today, your scaredness will actually impact on him so negatively. Anyway, what happened, which was great, is they actually found out that he and his girlfriend were both making each other feel low. She was having some challenges with her parents and things like that. And we found that by sharing things with him about how he could overcome those thoughts and those feelings and those pictures he was making. And so it was more like a sort of coaching of him without being too coachy. And of course then he came back and said to his parents how much better he's feeling and how much more excited about his future he's feeling. So again, just another little example there of where the parents looking at themselves and going, look, let's get really conscious, let's get really aware that we're making it worse. And this is not about beating yourself up. This is just about realizing that we need to be very conscious of how we're behaving. So I'm trusting that you got what you needed from that. If you have any questions, anything that might be going on with your kids, please do put a comment in the box below the video, and I will get to you as soon as I am able to, and we could talk if necessary, and I can help you in any way I can. And if this is your first time on the 1010 movement, please do press the subscribe button and the notification bell, and then it will let you know about the 2 videos that come out each week, one from myself, Nicki Vee, and one from the amazing Tony V. So from today, thank you for listening and watching, and I'm sending you lots of love, lots of intentions for staying calm with our kids during this time by being more conscious. Bye-bye.